Are you looking for an easy to set up and pack antenna system for POTA and SOTA? Today in the House of Ham, we are going to look at the BuddiStick Pro by BuddiPole. Welcome to the House of Ham. Today I'm going to give you a quick overview of the BuddiStick Pro and what I like and what I don't. Spoiler alert, it's mostly like. Now for full disclosure, I bought this antenna with my own money and I'm getting nothing from BuddiPole to do this review. Now I have kind of turned into an antenna addict. It's sort of become a sickness. So why did I feel that I need to get the BuddiStick? I'm going to start doing some SOTA since I have a lot of easily hikeable summits in my area, but there's only one problem. None of these summits have any trees, so throwing up a wire antenna is challenging. Now sure, I could bring a telescopic mast and some guys, and I may even do that down the road. But I wanted something that is small and easily fits in my backpack, and this certainly fits that criteria. Now the kit comes in this nice bag that holds everything, and the base price for the BuddiStick Pro is $199. Now I've also opted for the shock-corded legs, so I don't have to carry a tripod, and truly makes this an all-in-one solution. The legs cost an additional $57. Now I did not get the $25 RG58 coax, as I was using RG316 instead. So let's take a look at what's inside the bag. Now first, you have the coil and the 3 coil clips. Now it does have a couple extra plastic tap nuts that are color-coded differently from the others. Now on mine, I have my clips set up for 20 meters, 40 meters, and 30 meters. More on 30 meters later. Next, you have the two 11-inch arms. And a 67-inch width. Over on this side of the bag, we have the Versa hub and the tripod legs and a counterpoise. And it has this little ring that fits into the bottom of the Versa hub in a 1/4-20 threads. And then you can use that and this rope to weight down the tripod to keep it from tipping over in the wind, which it will do. More on that later as well. Now the setup is not too hard, but I highly recommend the use of some sort of antennalyzer like the Rig Expert stick or this Nano VNA. It's going to make things much quicker, and I'm going to do an entire video on the tuning of this antenna soon, and when I do, it'll be linked below in the description, so look for that in the near future. Now the instructions on this thing come on 2 pages, and these 2 blue cards. On page 3, they give you the suggested settings. I found it very interesting that they left 30 meters off of the settings. It does work on 30 meters, so if you are a CW or digital operator, fear not. Now I recommend that you start with the suggested settings for the bands that you want to use, and it'll make the field work go much quicker. They make it easier for you with these alternating blue and black lines that mark every 5 turns. So you start counting from the top and work your way down. Somehow missed that when I first set this up and counted from the bottom. And strangely enough, my SWR was really bad. So let's take this thing outside and set it up and see how it goes. So I've got the BuddiPole and everything here. The other thing I have here is this set of shooting sticks that I'm going to use for my to raise my counterpoise to get it up off the ground. I know a lot of people use the electric pole or electric fence pole, and that's great for someplace like if you're at a park or something you can drive up to, but I plan on hiking up these mountains that you see behind me here and some other ones, and I don't want to have to carry a tent stake with me. The other thing you can use is you can use hiking sticks, but I had this already, the shooting stick, and it gets the thing up about 2 feet off the ground. So I'll show you how I use that in a little bit here. So let's get this thing set up. Now, first thing I do is set up the tripod part of it, the legs. So get my legs out. And the other thing I'm going to use right out the gate is I'm going to set up this little eye bolt and put it in the bottom of my Versa hub. It tends to get pretty windy here, and so anyhow, it tends to get pretty windy here, and so I want to make sure that the thing doesn't blow over, which it's already done for me a couple times. So got this. Get my sunglasses on, it's bright today. Now, on these things, there's a little notch, and so you want the notch going down towards the pole, and then the little thing will actually kind of stand out straight. So I get all these things all ready to go. They go together just like tent poles, so which is nice. You don't have to worry about them coming apart on you while they're set up. And then these little toggles just go into these little saddles here. And it makes a pretty sturdy mount for the antenna. And I've already got a stake in the ground that I'm going to attach this line to. And they put a little tensioner on here, so it should be pretty sturdy, not go anywhere. Get some tension on it, and it should stay put. Yeah, I don't think I'd go anywhere. Okay, next thing to do is take the two arms, put them together. There's a male and a female end. Female end goes into the bottom of the coil. And then the whip goes into the top of the coil. Now this thing gets up there, I'm 6'2", this thing gets up there pretty high, so I recommend you extend this whip out completely before you put it on there. Some people even said, you know, put it on the coil and then put the coil on afterwards, but I think it's easier to do it all like this. Whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong answer. And of course this coil is facing the exact wrong direction. I'll turn it. It's not exactly tightened down that way, but it'll be fine. So I'm tapping it for 20 meters. And then the next thing to do, get your counterpoise wire out. And there's a little ring terminal on it. That goes on here. I may cut a notch in that so I don't have to take this thing all the way off every time, but I guarantee I'll drop this little nut sometime and I'll lose it. And I'll be calling Chris up for another one. Okay, and grab my shooting stick. So you get it out to the blue heat shrink on here, and then what I do is I just set my shooting stick out, kind of lean it and let the weight of it kind of hold it out, and it's 2 feet up above. So let's go ahead and get some coax on this thing and test it out. See what kind of SWR we get. Get this tightened back down. Now I'm using RG316 vice the RG58, just so it's lighter to pack. I'm only doing it HF anyways, so the losses aren't that great. If you were doing VHF, that's a different story. So I got my Rig Expert stick here. Set it for the ham. 20 meters. It's a little bit long right now, so I'm going to go ahead and shorten up this counterpoise a bit. It's coming in at a 1.12 SWR at 13.9 megahertz. So it's a little bit long. We'll see. I'm going to do a whole nother video on tuning, but if the SWR goes up as I bring this in, I might need to adjust the coil too. We'll see. And you can really just do this a turn at a time or so. We'll probably do 2 wraps, just to see where that puts us on the frequency. Another sweep. So with 2 turns on there, it is now at 1.06 to 1 SWR at 14.270. So if you were working the voice bands now, you can adjust that. I adjust that 2 wraps on the extra wraps on the winder there. You could adjust it out and get it down lower frequency if you wanted to. The question everybody wants to know is, do I like it or do I don't? And I do. It's a really nice antenna. It packs up really nice and small. It sets up quickly, as you see. I mean, this took me a very short time to set up, and I was talking to you as I did it. So I do have a couple little nitpicks, and they are really nitpicky things. One is it is very light and easily blows over in the wind, but they've accounted for that with that line. And you could either stake it into the ground, or if you're someplace like where it's rocky, then you could wrap it around some rocks or something, or attach a bag or something with some weight into it, and that'll keep it from tipping over. So that's not a problem. And then the other thing is the little clips can be a little fiddly, but it's a big nitpick. Chris recommends that you take the clip in from the bottom as opposed to going from the top. That way, if it contacts the next adjacent wire, it's a part that's already shorted out, so you're not impacting the tune by doing that. And so I really recommend you do it that way. Other than that, it's a really good antenna. It's got a fairly high Q because it is a loaded vertical antenna, so the bandwidth isn't real great on it. You will have to adjust it if you're moving band segments, particularly if when you get to 40 meters. It's not going to be real wide, but that's not that going into it if you're using a tuned vertical antenna. So, the one thing you need to keep in mind is, like all other portable antennas, it is a compromise. It is not going to perform as well as a full-size dipole or maybe even an end-fed half-wave. But it is going to do really well. It sets up really quick, and you don't have to have any trees or anything to use it, which is important to me. As you can see, that mountain back there doesn't have any trees on it. So, and most of the summits around here do not. So, kind of important to me that. So, like I said, I'm going to be doing another video on exactly how to tune this thing and get it dialed in like a pro. If you want to catch that, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit the bell, and then you'll find out when I do feature videos. With that, like this is WV7W 73s. Until next time.